One of the parts I thought will never break on me, especially with the power levels I was making, was the CAD Design transmission, but you know, guess what happened? So after we blew it up, I decided that for 2020 season I will not be using the CAD 009 transmission anymore, simply because I plan on traveling a lot in 2020. I plan on doing Texas events, Minnesota events, and you know, I really want a solid setup. I want a reliable car that I can just, you know, drive hard, but that won't break on me. So with that in mind, we actually decided to go with this transmission. This is a G-Force GSR 4-speed NASCAR transmission. It uses straight cut gears and dog rings. So basically it's a dog box. It's made up to QuickTime SFI certified bell housing, and this is my old engine. This is just a mock-up. So what we plan on doing is we plan on putting the engine back inside to the chassis, and we want to see exactly how much of a trans tunnel we're gonna have to cut out. Then we're gonna be making like a custom tunnel to just make sure everything is fit and everything is covered. So let's see how the engine sits inside, and we'll go from there. So transmission fits perfectly. We're gonna have to I thought there was actually gonna be more work to do with cutting out the tunnel, but the transmission itself, it sits pretty well. I think that actually the GSR is kind of like narrower than the CAD 009, and as you can see, the shifter location is pretty much perfect as it used to be. I was kind of worried about it. I didn't do much calculations about where the shifter is gonna be. I just got the bracket with the transmission, but actually comes out to be just perfect, just like as it used to be. So what I'm gonna have to do is cut out the top section of the tunnel, especially this piece right here as well, and it's gonna go this way, and we're just gonna raise it up and we're gonna make it higher. And one more thing is, if you plan on building a car for next season for 2020, and you plan, like me, build it to Pro 2 specs, even though I'm gonna be driving in Pro-Am, but if you plan on building it to Pro 2 specs, you gotta remember that you will need an SFI certified bell housing for your transmission. I was recently talking to one of my buddies here locally that used to be an MDU champion, and he told me that for 2020 I gotta be careful because I will need the SFI certified bell housing, because I was planning on doing a different setup. So just keep that in mind, and always look into your rule book whenever you're building a car to certain class or, you know, certain series of drifting. Always make sure to look in your rule book and, you know, just go from there. Before I cut anything out of the car, I gonna take out the seats, I gonna take out the hydro, just to make sure I'm not gonna cut into anything I don't want to. And also, if you guys would be interested in me making a video about the rule book, especially when it comes to Formula D, Pro-Am or Pro 2 or Pro, just let me know in the comments if you guys will like have problem, or you know, you guys look through the regulations before and you guys don't know what's going on, so I can show you exactly how to go about it, how to make notes, and how to build your car according to these rules. So let's cut, you know, let's take everything out and let's cut the tunnel. Okay, real quick before I take everything apart, I would like to show you guys how I mounted my hydro e-brake. One of the things I would really suggest you doing is when you're mounting the e-brake, have everything in place, have your seat in, have your steering wheel, so you can actually kind of see how you're gonna be comfortable with the e-brake. I have my e-brake set pretty close here to my steering wheel. So here's my steering wheel, here's my e-brake, and here's my shifter. And how I mounted it is I welded a bracket with 2 nuts welded underneath it, so I can just, you know, screw it in. and then my line runs from master, bolts up to the bracket right here, so it holds it in place. I know the lines are not really nicely bent. I never really had time to do it right, but yeah, I'm gonna fix that. But goes inside here and then goes to the back calipers. So that's how my my hydro is set up. Alright, so I actually marked everything up on top of the tunnel. I'm gonna cut everything out, the whole top section of the tunnel, and then I'm gonna put in the transmission, and I'm gonna see if it's gonna touch or it's gonna rub anywhere. Let's get to cutting. As you can see, I pretty much cut it out the entire top of the tunnel. The transmission, besides that, fits perfect. Everything on the side fits just like a glove. So when it comes to the transmission, I really had two choices. It was either Samsona's 5 or 6 speed sequential or G-Force GSR H pattern transmission, and they quoted me around 14 or 15,000 for Samsona's sequential transmission, where you can just go, you can just bank gears. And this transmission is an H pattern, it's like a regular car, and they quoted me like 14-15,000. So that was really out of my budget when it comes to the transmission itself. So after that, it was either Samsona's H pattern, because they're pretty much the same price when it comes to G-Force GSR and Samsona's H pattern, or the G-Force GSR. So I went with the GSR just because there's I feel like there's more support when it comes to the transmission, this transmission itself in the United States. There's parts I can pretty much get the parts next day. I'm not sure how the Samsona's is distributing their parts and stuff like that here in the United States, so I just wasn't sure. I went with the safe route and went with the GSR. What else? So yeah, I've cut out the tunnel, and for the next video I actually plan on making the enclosure. I'm gonna be designing my own mount, I'm gonna be designing my own shifter. So hopefully you guys gonna find it interesting in the next episodes when it comes to the Pro-Am drift build, and see you guys next time.